So hello and welcome back to another video on the SOAutomotive YouTube channel. My name is Sven and you are joining me right now in a bit of a spot because you can see right in front of me the Atlantic Ocean Road in Norway. And even though this is a quite beautiful spot and the road basically invites you to drive it, I actually want to do something different today. I want to have a little bit of a talk video how much this car actually cost me in total over the basically 3 years I've owned it now. And let's start with the price for the car. The price for the car was back then 2,500 euros. It had back then 150,000 kilometers on the clock, and it was actually more roughed up than it is right now because I actually changed already a few things. Start first with the registration or the tags for the car. I got custom number plates on the car. Those cost around 50 euros to register them to the car and to get those plates. The car needs to go every 2 years to the TÜV, and it actually wasn't that expensive. It was 2 times around 700 euros, which, I mean, for a car like this, it is actually nearly half of the value that it is right now. It is actually quite much in comparison to the car, but 700 euros, I mean, they've done actually a lot to this. Excuse me, I have my little spreadsheet here so I can see all things. The car needs to go like every 10,000 kilometers or every 2 years, go to have a service. And the last service actually was quite expensive. The service alone this year was 1,000 euros, 997 euros and 17 cents, which is extortionate. I spent in the lifetime of the car like maybe 1,500 euros for the servicing, which is also basically the value of the car. But I love the car, that's why I am actually willing to spend all this money, even though it is basically, you know, thrown into the air, because the car doesn't get higher value because of that. I also had some, let's say, repairs done to the car. One was the AC unit, and the AC unit was also absolutely expensive. It was about 2 years ago now, and it cost me 919 euros just to fix the AC, which is, yes, expensive. Also nearly like 3/4 of the value of the car. And I also had to get the brakes done, which was additional, basically 300 euros, specifically 293 euros and 93 cents, which made it to a total of, in about those 3 years, to 1,212 euros in just about 3 years, which rounds up to about 400 euros a year, which isn't actually that bad considering I actually drive my car and I, you know, don't want to garage clean it because, one, it is my only car and I cannot use another car, and, well, just like driving it, even though it is a Golf. And now the most, let's say, repetitive cost, which is petrol or fuel or gas, if you are American. Well, in 2022 alone, I spent 818 euros and 89 cents on this car for fuel, which isn't actually that bad. It rounds up at around 80 euros every month, which isn't that bad. I mean, I didn't drove back then very much because I just needed to, you know, I sometimes drove it to school, but nothing more than that. In 2023, I spent 921 euros and 81 cents on this car, which rounds up at around 85 euros every month. It is a little bit more because I actually started an apprenticeship, and that's why I needed to drive more. To date, meaning the start of this year, 2024, and remember, it is only just, by the time I'm recording this, is the 27th of April. Third of the year is only over, and I spent to date nearly 900 euros in this car, nearly 900 euros for fuel with this car, which is actually, oh perfect, which is actually quite a lot, and I spent in total 2,621 euros and 61 cents for fuel in those 3 years. I also had to wash the car, and I always do this in a wash box, and that cost me around 36 euros, which isn't that much. The insurance for the car was also quite expensive. In the first year I needed to pay 304 euros and 55 cents. In the second year I actually paid 370 euros and 7 cents. The third year, this year, will cost around 340-ish euros. I also need to pay tax for the car, which is 94 euros, and also done some upgrades to the car. The first was that I replaced the switch for the lights because it was actually roughed up, and I now have a new shiny silver one. That cost me 83 euros and 64 cents. I actually bought 2 FM transmitter because, well, the first one burned out and now I have a second one. Those cost me in total 38 euros. I bought an Apple AirTag so I know where the car is. I also spent 25 euros and 93 cents on the window switches for the driver and passenger side on the car because those were also roughed up. And I spent 17 euros and 90 cents for a new gear lever because this thing was also roughed up and is now nice, shiny and clean. Yes, that was the total I spent on this car, and I don't know how much it is right now because I actually still need to calculate it, but I hope you liked this kind of video. I know it was a bit of a different one, it wasn't a driving one, but I hope you like it, and yeah, I guess I will see you on the next one. Peace.